If your TaxDome setup is feeling messy, it's feeling confusing, or it's slow for your team, then you're probably making one of these common pipeline mistakes. So these are issues that are causing work to get stuck, clients to fall through the cracks, or maybe for your team just to lose a little bit of time during busy season. So we're going to be talking today about 5 pipeline mistakes that TaxDome users make that are creating bottlenecks in your firm. So here's what you're going to get inside of this video. By the end of this video, you're going to have a better idea of how you can streamline your tax workflow, how you can reduce your team's confusion throughout the process, how you can improve visibility across all of your client work, how you can build a TaxDome system that actually speeds up your firm, and how you can avoid the mistakes that are costing firms the most time during busy season. So let's go ahead and get into it. Number 1, all right. We see this all the time, and this is where we see firms that are using too many pipelines for the same process. Let me give you an example. For your tax return process, if you have a separate pipeline for your 1040s, your 1065s, your 1120s, etc., then you're using too many pipelines really to cover the same process. Our rule of thumb here is if it is overall the same process, you can use that same pipeline to customize based on the entity type and to avoid some duplication and confusion and inconsistency and really ultimately slow down teams. So when you're using 10 different pipelines instead of just one, it's really adding in extra work, extra maintenance, extra confusion, when really you could be using that same pipeline and then just customize using conditional tags to customize for the work. So having one pipeline that covers the whole process, using customized tags, customized automations, customized stages where you need to, really can keep your workflow clean and easy to follow, and it's going to make it so much easier for your team. Number 2, we also see this one a lot, skipping the lead onboarding pipeline. Personally, this one is actually one of my favorite pipelines because I think that it sets our clients up for success, it sets the firm up for success, and it's something that you truly can automate a huge portion of and save yourself time in the process. So when you are onboarding a lead, converting them into a client, that back and forth can take forever. It can take a lot of your time, it can take a lot of your team's time, and sometimes it takes so long that we end up losing out on that lead. So by streamlining this process into a pipeline, we're going to automate it as much as possible. We're also going to give a better client experience. It's going to make sure that you're not missing those follow-ups. You aren't losing or, these leads that are kind of go missing. We're not forgetting about them. We're not ghosting them. It's really documented, so it flows well A to Z. It lowers your stress when you're in like a busy crunch time and you're still trying to grow, trying to bring on those clients, but you don't really have time to do it. It's going to make that process so much easier for you. So this is going to give them a structured process. It's going to avoid that chaos. It's also going to set these new leads up for success and having trust and faith that you know what you're doing and you have a great system just to get them started. Number 3, not assigning tasks to roles or to team members. So inside of TaxDome, in the automations field, when you're looking at your tasks, you have the ability to assign that to a role. And then when you put that task into your pipeline, you can automatically assign that to an individual or to a role like an accountant or a reviewer. When you don't do that, what we often see when we're going in and we're cleaning up or we're taking a look at our clients' TaxDomes is that you have a lot of tasks but no owner. That creates a bottleneck right there. It's going to slow the review process, it's going to slow the delivery process, and it's going to prevent your clients from getting what they need. So if you take the time to go into your templates, assign them to roles, then that's going to mean that you can assign different people to different clients, or maybe it's the same person. Either way, it's going to provide that ownership and that accountability, and also to help things move along more seamlessly, duplicate or avoid duplicating responsibilities and distribute those, as well as help you just keep a better pulse on who's doing what, where some of those bottlenecks might be arising and what your team is up to. Number 4, not streamlining your process enough. Okay, this one almost might seem like it goes against number 1 a little bit. We love using conditional automations. They are so powerful. They're what truly allows us to customize the process for our clients. Having said that, over customizing too much can make your workflow really hard to manage if you're not careful. If you have 20 million different processes, every client has a unique process, then what you're creating is confusion and the opportunity to have too many bottlenecks or breakdowns in your process. I get it. There are definitely cases where it makes sense to customize your process, and we want to take advantage of the ability to do that in TaxDome. But where you can, streamlining things and getting things just kind of, on the same page where they're clear, they're simple, and they're not overly complex, it's going to make it easier for you, not just in the delivery, but also in the build process as well. And that really also is going to set your team up for success when it's a more consistent process. Having said that, absolutely, there's definitely room for and a need for customization, and we want to take advantage of that where it makes sense using that conditional logic. But again, streamlining our process as much as possible is going to make things just so much easier for your team, for you, and ultimately your clients, right? Because it does get confusing when you have so many different processes you're trying to keep up with. Where you can streamline that for everyone, it's just going to make it better. And number 5, not connecting your automations properly, or even just not using them at all. We definitely see this very often inside TaxDome, where you might have created a pipeline, you might have a couple things in there, but you're not actually using the automations at all. So this is definitely a big time waste, because that's a big point of using TaxDome, right? Like, it's one thing to have your clients in there. It's one thing to send them manual emails through there, send them manual organizers. But if you can put it into that pipeline, you can automate that. That's going to mean you're not having to sit there and send out those reminders. You're not going to have to sit there and try and remember what you do next or where things are at. They're just automated into a flow. So the way you do that, if you haven't already, is you create the templates inside of your tasks, your emails, your organizers. Then you take those templates and you put them into a pipeline. We're turning on features like auto move. We are turning on the automations to send automatically, and they aren't just necessarily tasks all the time that we have to do. Now, that does require obviously some work up front, and it also requires you to have a mostly streamlined process. But that's where you start to use those conditional tags and customization where you need to. But it's really going to help to reduce a lot of that manual work for your team, and it's going to just provide that flow of communication, that flow of ease for your clients as well. So definitely recommend spending some time to connect those automations. It's one thing to have TaxDome. It's another thing to use it to the greatest extent possible where it's really helping your firm. So if last year you had your clients in there, that's a great start. It really is. This year, if you start to build out those automations and put them even into a simple pipeline, that is also a great start. You can continue to build upon that to really get the most out of how you're using the system. And so that really should help you automate those predictable parts so you can focus your time on the work that matters. So those are our 5 ways that you might not be fully utilizing TaxDome to the extent that you can and creating those bottlenecks inside of your firm. So if it's still feeling overwhelming, it may not be because there's something wrong with the software, although we know it does do so much and that can be confusing at times. We want to give you the system that makes it work for you. So building it inside of your firm in a customized way that works for you. So if you take some time to really fix these 5 mistakes, you're going to speed up your tax season, you're going to reduce your team confusion, you're going to improve your client turnaround time, and you're going to create that clarity across your various workflows for you, your team, and your clients. And if you do want help building out the system that actually works for your firm, you can join the Future Proof Accountant membership, where we provide hands-on support, workflow templates, weekly trainings and live Q&A sessions, and the guidance that you need to build a clean, efficient system inside of TaxDome. Right now, you can also use the code YouTube30 to save 30% off your monthly subscription. I'll include the link here as well. And if you have any questions, our community is a great place to go to ask those questions, get the support that you need. And we do offer a free community as well inside of the Future Proof Accountant. So if you just want to go in and ask your questions and engage with other accounting users who are using TaxDome, we're in there as well to provide all the support that you need to get this done. That's all we have for today. We'll see you on the next one.